Wow. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., son of Mexican legend, is suspended indefinitely for failure to take a drug test. Indefinitely. Adverb, for an unlimited or unspecified period of time. Unlimited, unspecified. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Shout out to everybody who's joined the Patreon. Join the Patreon, link in the description, or to become a YouTube channel member, same perks. Hit the join button. Now, let's talk about it. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Wow. Suspended indefinitely. I want to give you guys the news. Smash the like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. I drop daily content, live streams, cover fights when we're not in pandemics, etc. ESPN, link in the description. Says Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. suspended indefinitely for refusing December drug test. Right? The article, Julio Cesar Chavez has been suspended indefinitely by both the Nevada State Athletic Commission and Arizona Boxing and MMA Commission due to his refusal to take a drugs test prior to his December 20th bout against Daniel Jacobs. Chavez was temporarily suspended in Nevada after not submitting to a drug test when a representative of VADA showed up at the Wildcard Boxing Gym, Freddie Roach's gym in Hollywood, California, ahead of Chavez Jr.'s fight with Jacobs. After some legal maneuvering, Chavez was temporarily cleared and the fight took place at the Talking Stick Resort in Phoenix rather than the originally scheduled venue of the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. Chavez retired on his stool after the 5th round against Daniel Jacobs, leading to a wild scene in the arena as fans threw debris into the ring. Quote, "The judge reviewed the case and he ruled in our favor," said Bob Bennett, the executive director of NSAC, Nevada State Commission, told ESPN. He's now on temporary suspension pending a suspension. Hold on, that sounded crazy. I read it right though. You got to give me my credit. He's now on temporary suspension pending a suspension and an administrative hearing from our commission. Wow. Chavez will be part of the agenda when the commission meets on August 5th. Right now, we're going to see what happens, and the commission will take a look at his suspension, then continue his suspension, and then set a date for an administrative hearing for refusing to take a performance-enhancing drug test with us, said Bob Bennett. This isn't the first issue Chavez has had with drug tests conducted by NSAC. Back in 2009, his victory over Troy Rowland was changed to a no contest because Chavez tested positive for furosemide, a diuretic, in a post-fight test. He was suspended for 7 months and fined. Then again in 2012, Julio Cesar Chavez lost to Sergio Maravilla Martinez. He tested positive for marijuana and was subsequently fined $900,000, bro. Wow. And banned for 9 months. The 34-year-old Chavez Jr., who is the son of legendary Julio Cesar Chavez, at one point held the WBC title, but the younger Chavez's career has steadily declined since the Martinez loss, and that's his record, 51-4-1. Wow. Rest in peace to Travail, Black Magic, Maison. I just seen that but I've talked about that as well. But actually, I did a video because Golden Boy, from my sources, they said they haven't even reached out to the family. So I did a video about that. If you're interested in donating to Travail Maison's family for the GoFundMe to help with burial costs and, you know, ease the load on the family, the link is in the description. And I deleted everything in the description box except for really the link. So it's easy to find, straightforward. If you want to, if you can contribute $1, $5, $20, whatever you have, it's for a good cause. And I've confirmed that it is set up by his family. because I know some people in Texas. So check that video. Now, back to Chavez Jr. What can I say, man? Chavez Jr. is looking like over. He's doing these weird TikToks and like, what is this, bro? He's looking like gold dust. Like, I don't know, bro. Now he's indefinitely, like, is he giving a thumbs up? I know he must know he's suspended. Yeah, he did this 1 day ago. This came out about a day ago. I'm kind of late. So anyway, I just don't even know where Chavez Jr. would even begin to go from here, because he's suspended indefinitely and he has to go through legal proceedings. And the funny thing is, new media, once again, we're on the right side of history. And it feels great. So everybody who's rolled with new media and Ego's Army and my channel, Boxing Ego, give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a pat on the back. Because I told you, when this whole situation came about, I told you that it was foolish for Eddie Hearn to try to push forth with this and remove it from the state of Nevada. The moment Chavez Jr. had a fight on the calendar with Daniel Jacobs, per the rules, they can test him. It's part of their program. They can test him because you've requested the MGM facility. You told them and RSVP'd, basically. They know you have a fight, so it's game on. Chavez Jr. waited around the wildcard gym, and multiple people from VADA came to the gym or like tried to reason with him and try to take the test, and he refused them, and they were on the phone with their bosses, and then ultimately they left without collecting a sample. Then later, Chavez Jr. said, days later, hey, you can come get a sample. But that's just ignorant. That defeats the whole process and the whole purpose of random blood and urine PED testing. If you tell them when to come back and test you, that's just foolish, because you can cleanse your system and take diuretics, take things to wash things up. So you can't tell. That's why the whole concept is random. Keyword, operative word being random. So they just show up at your gym. They have locations of where you are, where you might be, GPS, ankle monitor, whatever they got. And they try to pop up on you. It's just like, it's no different than somebody who got out of jail or something, and they have to meet with the PO. You got a probation officer, right? You don't tell you when they call you, or when they decide to pop up. If they decide to pop up, you got to be ready. And, you might have to take a drug test. They might, I don't know if you ever known anyone that had a PO, things like that. It happens, right? You just got to be ready and ready to submit, submit a sample or whatever. So I told you from the beginning that this was foolish for Eddie Hearn so what Eddie Hearn did, and some of you guys this was just in December, so it's pretty fresh for me, but for some other people, we're in a pandemic, you might have forgot some of the occurrences. But basically, Chavez Jr. refused to do a drug test, and then they reported it back to VADA, who in turn reported it back to Nevada, where they were scheduled to have the fight. So Nevada State Athletic Commission was like, you can't fight here. Why didn't you let us collect a sample, or let VADA collect a sample and you fighting Jacobs? He didn't have a good reason, so they temporarily suspended him. Eddie Hearn and DAZN, what they did, the promoter of that event, Eddie Hearn, tried to shop and pander to other commissions to see, like, man, who cares? I'm a spoiled rich kid. My dad was, I was birthed into money. So even though he's suspended and he has this that he now has to like clear up with NSAC, we're going to try to pander to the California State Commission. And shout out to California, my state. I'm in California right now. The California CSAC, California State Athletic Commission, they already were privy to this situation, and their West Coast, they're not partners, but their West Coast, they kept a brotherhood, and they said, nah, we're not getting involved. He can't fight here because he has a bad rep here too. Or, I don't know if they were doing it to back Nevada particularly, or if I think he has a bad rap in California State. So either way, they backed up Nevada and said he can't fight here either. So what did Eddie Hearn do? He took it to a third West Coast state, Arizona, right? And I told you guys then, and I'm telling you the same thing now. It's amazing how God works in mysterious ways. I said this was foolish for Eddie Hearn. First of all, Jacob, you got to look at the fight. This is no Mayweather versus Canelo, Mayweather McGregor, Mayweather Pacquiao. It's not even a fight like that. You know, some people have lost confidence in Chavez Jr. a long time ago, like during the Sergio Martinez days. So for you to do all this to salvage the fight to bring to DAZN, it was just a headache waiting to happen. And you can see that before even the fighters are in training camp. And another thing that I said, you could check my videos, which we'll get to, is Chavez Jr. has remained undisciplined throughout his career and had trouble making weight. So I said, man, it's so much of a gamble. Why would you take on that headache? He didn't do the drug test, which looks extremely bad, right? Just like, and in the same year, Dillian White beat Oscar Rivas and had a secret failed drug test meeting, which looked extremely bad, both under Eddie Hearn's umbrella, right? Whatever. And there's more stuff, but I'm not even going to go down that because that's just a whole different rabbit hole. Anyway, the bottom line is Chavez Jr. hasn't proven to be professional and reliable in that way. And guess what? Chavez Jr., they pushed the issue, Eddie Hearn being spoiled, and made the fight happen. Chavez Jr. misses weight Jacobs. Watch this. ESPN again. We'll use them. Chavez Jr. misses weight, will lose $1 million. So on top of all this drug test fiasco and being blocked from the state of Nevada and the state of California, and then taking it to Arizona and thinking you're in the clear just to try to make a profit by making Jacobs Chavez, knowing he hadn't cleared up this stuff with Nevada, he missed weight, y'all. Can you believe that? He missed weight. After being cleared Tuesday by Nevada state judge to fight because it was a temporary, Chavez's people, got worked some loophole or whatever to buy time, so they just allowed him to fight. But now all those problems that they put on the back burner and thought would just mysteriously vanish are back. It says Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He weighed in Thursday at 172.7. The fight was contracted at 168. You guys see that? Chavez weighed 172.7, but they were supposed to weigh 168. So he came in very heavy and had to pay a $1 million penalty because that's what happens when you miss weight. There's usually some repercussions or, ramifications for you not adhering to your contract. And so he was nearly 5 pounds over. And Eddie Hearn did all of this to protect this fight. What a headache. And then, but wait, there's more. Eddie Hearn and DAZN, they get full credit for this, right? Chavez Jr. Jacobs fight riot. Let's try that. Let's see what that. Daniel Jacobs wins Julio Cesar job. Oh, and he quit on top of that. Look, he quit in the fight. So messing with Chavez Jr. for this particular fight, he had missed a drug test, missed his weight, and then it caused a riot because he quit in the stands. Fans riot, pelt Julio Cesar Jr. It wasn't just Chavez Jr. with hot dogs and beer. They were pelting anybody. Look, they're using the ring signs as people throw shit. Look at the DAZN logo in the back. And the fans were so outraged that they paid their hard-earned money for it that they were angry, right? They were angry, and chaos ensued in Arizona, and they were throwing stuff into the ring. It was just I haven't seen that in boxing really, where they riot. Hold on. Twitter. I don't know what that is. Look. Crowd erupts. You guys could find a video. But it happened. Trust me. It was an ugly, chaotic scene in Phoenix. Bro, it was going crazy. They were throwing all types of stuff. Look. Oh, DAZN got a video. I'm not going to play all their video for copyright stuff. See, so he quit. And then they started going crazy. They were throwing beer cans.
Actually,
See, look at man. Look at that Chavez dad. Oh, here's some scenes. Angry fans throw drinks. Look. Look, you see? Look. Wow. Wow. Look. They're throwing it into the ring. Wow. They're hurling beer cans and full drinks. Oh my God. Look. All this because you made the Chavez Jr. fight. All this because you want to make the Chavez fight. Wow. And it was worse than that. Like, they still had fights on after. It was just an ugly scene, man. It was real ugly. It was real ugly. But new media, once again, on the right side of history. I told you this wasn't going to go away for Chavez. He's going to have to face the music about dodging the test. Look, there are my videos. 8 months ago, more Nevada NSAC checks Eddie Hearn for the Chavez Jr. fight, says he's breaking laws. Look, this is the title of the video. This is the video. Details on Chavez, Vada, Eddie Hearn, NSAC situation. Bob Bennett, right? I covered this whole thing. Ego Live report, DAZN curse. Eddie Hearn, Chavez Jr., Vada fiasco. Look, breaking. This is all my videos. Breaking, Eddie Hearn moving Chavez Jr. fight report drops on major boxing website. Eddie Hearn willing to use Chavez Jr. again. That's what Eddie Hearn said after the fight, right? Bob Arum says Eddie Hearn's falling on his ass, right? So you guys see it. I've made several videos about this, and I'm like, why is Eddie Hearn even getting involved in this way to make this fight? And it going on Facebook Live with paraphernalia in the background. As such, Matchroom is promoting an event that potentially violates federal law. Bob Bennett of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, his letter further states, November 7th, I contacted Sean Palmer, and I asked these how questions. It goes. It's not like, that's like your mom says you can't spend the night at your friend's house, and then you wait for her to leave, and then you ask your dad, and he says yes. You know, that wouldn't really go down in my household. You know, my mom, once she found out that I went over her head, I would be in trouble for that. So I don't know how Eddie Hearn expected this to go on. Furthermore, to me, I don't even think it's a Friday fight. Jacob's first fight at 168, I don't even see it being a big enough fight or a desired enough fight where you would want all this negative baggage and backlash and potentially burning your bridges with Nevada State Athletic Commission for Chavez. In addition, DAZN reporter Chris Mannix released a tweet, and he said that they have Gabe Rosado on this card so he could play backup in case Chavez Jr. can't make weight. Why would you even go through all of this and make yourself look crazy, make it look like you're condoning, cheating and, potential, the incriminating look of Chavez failing or not fail. Well, technically he has failed. That's where they said and that's my this is my old video, November 13th. The fight didn't happen until December. So this is the video I did, and I was asking these same questions like, yo, why is Eddie Hearn doing all this for this fight? Just drop it. If he failed the drug test or refused to take it, it just looks bad. Now all this stuff is coming to haunt him. Today's news, this week's news, Chavez Jr. suspended indefinitely. I told you. You guys thought this was going to go away. So once again, Ego Stradamus strikes again. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I don't even know what he's going to do next because now he has to beat this. So you quit in your last fight. You're suspended indefinitely. You failed your weight. You're weighing weights millions of times. I mean, you lost to Canelo. People thought you had a chance. You lost that. Lost to Sergio Martinez. Look, suspended indefinitely. I mean, it's not looking good, y'all. And this is who Eddie Hearn decided to fight for and force. And you created a riot in Phoenix and messed up those people's venue. It was a basketball, I think, where the Phoenix Suns play, you know? So did people have to, they're supposed to just break down the ring and go home, but people had to clean up broken bottles and, you know, cans and beer streaks, and there were shoes. I seen all type, man, let me see if I can. Chavez Jr., Chavez, Jacobs, riot. Bro, I seen all types of stuff on Twitter. And I just don't understand. Like, it was just such a bad look. The riot, the people throwing things, how the fight ended, he quit. The crowd is throwing stuff at Jacobs in the ring, and it was Chavez who quit. See? Oh, I guess their tweet is no longer available. It's just like a melee. It's just like all hell broke loose. It's terrible, terrible look. And now Chavez Jr. has to face the music of the... Man, this is just crazy. This is just crazy. And then Eddie Hearn, he did all this to push this fight forward. And I told you it didn't make sense. So Chavez is suspended indefinitely. He has to go through all the legal proceedings and try to beat this case. So they just bought time, pushed the fight through, but it really did nothing, you know? It really did nothing. Actually, let me Jacobs, Chavez. Let's see if that comes up. Bro, I know it was looking crazy. It was looking really crazy that night. Look at the boos. You hear them? Like, boo, Jamie, they boo. Look, they're rushing them out. Oh, duck. Oh, look. They throwing hella stuff. Like, wow. Told you. Bro, it was crazy. Some of these videos don't even do it the full justice, because I remember that night I was covering a bigger fight, you know, on Saturday, because this was a Friday fight, and it was like crazy. And I was like, wow. You know? Wow. So that's it. It is what it is. Chavez Jr. suspended indefinitely. New media.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.